Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's August 15th, 2023. We are in the Old Testament, and we are in the book of Ruth. We're going to read chapter 4 today. We're going to finish off this story of this obedient Gentile woman who comes to live amongst Jews and adopts their customs, adopts their God, and essentially shows the Jews what it's like to actually follow God and obey God. See, we saw yesterday that Ruth essentially proposed to Boaz. She went through this ritual to let him know that, hey, I'm done mourning for my husband who's dead. I'm ready to move on and be married, and I'd like to be married to you. And he says, well, you know what? That suits me fine, except there's one problem. There is somebody who's a little bit closer, who's got the right to do this, be a kinsman redeemer over me. So I need to go talk to him first. If he won't do it, then I'll do it. And that's where we start with this story, where Boaz is now confronting this man and letting him know, hey, you know what? It's time to redeem all that property of Naomi's dead husband and her dead sons. And he says, hey, great, I'll take it. And he says, oh, that's good, but you know what? There's Ruth comes along with it. You have to marry her. And the guy says, ooh, well, that messes things up, because now he's agreeing that he's going to father a child with Ruth, and that child will adopt separate from his family. So he's splitting his inheritance up a little bit. So he's not just getting a bunch of free property like he thought. He says, nope, I'm not going to do it. And then Boaz says, okay. Everyone here saw that he refused to do it, so now I can do it. And that's basically where the story ends. And then we get a really nice little ending here that lets us know why they interrupted this story of Judges to tell us all about Ruth, to show us this obedience in somebody. This obedience in someone who, again, is a Gentile, wasn't a Jew. She's adopted into the Israel tribe. And her and Boaz have a son who has a son until we get to David. So she's a grandmother of David, or a great-grandmother, or a great-great-great-grandmother, or a great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother all the way down to Jesus. So without her and her obedience at this time, we don't have the salvation, because there's no David, there's no Jesus. So Ruth is a very important person. That's why that's why she's in this Bible right here in between the Judges, right before we get to Samuel. Obedient in a little could be something major and huge. Again, all she did was didn't want to abandon her mother-in-law, and she ends up being the mother of the greatest king Israel knew, David, who eventually leads us to Jesus Christ. So let's go ahead and we're going to read Ruth chapter 4. Now Boaz went up to the gate and sat down there, and behold, the close relative of whom Boaz had spoken came by. So Boaz said, come aside, friend, sit down here. So he came aside and sat down. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, sit down here. So they sat down. Then he said to the close relative Naomi, who has come back from the country of Moab, sold the piece of land which belonged to our brother Elimelech. And I thought to inform you, saying, buy it back in the presence of the inhabitants and the elders of my people. If you will redeem it, redeem it. But if you will not redeem it, then tell me, that I may know, for there is no one but you to redeem it. Then I am next after you. And he said, I'll redeem it. Then Boaz said, on the day that you buy the field from the hand of Naomi, you must also buy it from Ruth, the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to perpetuate the name of the dead through his inheritance. And the close relative said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I ruin my own inheritance. You redeem my right of redemption for yourself, for I cannot redeem it. Now this was the custom in former times in Israel concerning redeeming and exchanging to confirm anything. One man took off his sandal and gave it to the other. And this was a confirmation in Israel. Therefore the close relative said to Boaz, buy it for yourself. So he took off his sandal, and Boaz said to the elders and all the people, you are witnesses this day that I have bought all that was Elimelech's, and all that was Chilion's and Mahlon's from the hand of Naomi. Moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, the widow of Mahlon, I have acquired as my wife to perpetuate the name of the dead through his inheritance, that the name of the dead may not be cut off from among his brethren and from his position at the gate. You are witnesses this day. And all the people who were at the gate and the elders said, "We are witnesses. The Lord make the woman who is coming to your house like Rachel and Leah, the two who built the house of Israel. And may you prosper in Ephrathah and be famous in Bethlehem. May your house be like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah, because of the offspring which the Lord will give you from this young woman." So Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife. And when he went into her, the Lord gave her conception, and she bore a son. Then the women said to Naomi, "Blessed be the Lord, who has not left you this day without a close relative, and may his name be famous in Israel. And may he be to you a restorer of life and a nourisher of your old age. For your daughter-in-law, who loves you, who is better to you than 7 sons, has borne him." Then Naomi took the child and laid him on her bosom, and became a nurse to him. Also the neighbor women gave him a name, saying, "There is a son born to Naomi." And they called his name Obed. He is the father of Jesse, the father of David. Now this is the genealogy of Perez. Perez begot Hezron. Hezron begot Ram, and Ram begot Amminadab. Amminadab begot Nahshon, and Nahshon begot Salmon. Salmon begot Boaz, and Boaz begot Obed. Obed begot Jesse, and Jesse begot David. May God bless the reading of his word. May God bless you. Bye.